Reporter John Soflett finds out.
Everywhere you look, there are plenty of signs this town is boring.
Boring Oregon, huh?
We're not kidding. This place really is boring. It has been for nearly 100 years. This small community just east of Portland didn't get its name because it's dull, but because of William Boring, who donated the land to build a one-room schoolhouse in 1883.
And then they named the community Boring in his honor, and it stuck with us.
Willard Boring is William's grandson. He says people might draw the wrong conclusions about this town because of what it's called.
It's boring in name only. It's a name, not a condition.
After all, they've got square dancing. They've got a post office where people like to drop by for that postmark. With 1,100 calls a year, the firehouse is always hopping.
Hardly boring at all. Boring hardware.
Down at the hardware store, they never have trouble finding something fun to do.
We probably put toilet plungers on sale in January. Things get slow.
Even the sewage treatment plant is full of activity.
There's lots to do here in Boring.
We have lots of excitement here.
In fact, it's not boring enough, really.
There's a lumber mill, a number of nurseries, and more traffic than you'd expect in a town with this name. No, they don't sit around and watch the grass grow here. In fact, this gentleman didn't even have time for an interview. Can we ask you a question? No. You're busy? Okay, fair enough. Maybe he's had enough of the jokes that come with the territory, like, boy, talk about a boring school.
You're one of the few people that someone can come up and say, hey, this is the boring principal, and you're not insulted.
Not at all. I'm proud of it. This is a wonderful place. Our school is probably as boring to our kids as any other school is boring to other kids. No more, no less.
Students are proud to call this the home of the Boring Bears.
We had a committee talking about changing the name of the school, and the kids, even though they joke about it, they didn't want us to even begin to think about changing the name. They're pretty proud of it.
There are some inconveniences living here. Try dealing with directory assistants.
When you call, like, the phone directory to get the phone number for Boring hardware, you get a pretty good chuckle out of the operator, like, yeah, right, you know.
And guess what happens when you give your address to people out of state?
Boring fire department, and then the jokes start.
I don't know what we would have done if we had to have a sense of humor.
All in all, Willard says life here is darn good. Anything but what the name would imply.
How can anything be boring if you enjoy it? So there's been 6 generations of us who lived on this little spot of God's country, we like to call it, and it's a good life.
No, Willard and the rest of the folks around here don't have any complaints about leading the boring life.